Obsidian's newest RPG, The Outer Worlds, is here, and it's another sprawling game brought to you by the people who made Fallout New Vegas. Now, if you know Obsidian, you know that means some meaty role-playing goodness with a lot of talking and a lot of options. Be a good guy, be a bad guy, be a sarcastic jerk, the choice is yours. The amount of options and settings in this game can be overwhelming, and some important details can fall through the cracks. So today we're talking about 10 things The Outer Worlds doesn't tell you. At the end, you should be able to step out into the wild space yonder with just, a little more confidence. But let's get started off with number 10. Small thing, see base item stats? Turn that sucker off. Here's a pretty interesting feature. The game will show you how your stats will affect the weapons and the armor in your inventory, but this is turned off by default. If you want to know how your stats, skills, and perks improve certain weapons and armor right there in the inventory, go to Settings, then UI, then scroll down to Show Base Item Stats. Turn that off, and then you'll be able to easily tell which weapons and armors synergizes with your stats. It's not a huge thing, but it's surprisingly helpful, hidden by an option that's, actually pretty easy to miss. Moving over to number 9, let's talk about some inventory management craziness. This game gives you a lot of options for sorting your inventory, stuff that you'd kill to have in a game like Fallout 76. You can sort by name, value, weight, and really cool, value to weight. So if you want to find out what's worth the most and is taking up the most space in your inventory at the same time, you actually can. That's a really good thought. It's also really easy to mark items as junk, which you can then bulk sell to vendors. And another nice little thing, any of the piles of junk you find around the environment that doesn't have any purpose, that's auto-marked as junk, so selling that stuff is even easier. Over at number 8, a small thing, honestly, it's just something that's kind of annoying with the game. Maybe you're getting annoyed at always drawing your gun whenever you want to interact with something or talk to someone. Well, there's not really much you can do about it if you're using a controller, unfortunately. When opening doors, don't hold down the interact button. You'll draw your gun. If you just tap it, usually you'll open the door, no weapon drawn. Now, talking to random NPCs, the ones who just, shout out a little bit of dialogue here and there, you're always going to end up kind of pulling out your gun when you're talking to them. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like a big deal in the world, so you know that, no one cares most of the time. Don't worry about it too much. Hopefully, at least on console, that's something that they can tweak, change the mapping, but we're going to have to wait and see. Over at number 7, when you equip a companion with headgear, they're stuck with it. You cannot take it off, you can only swap it out. If you want to see their faces still, go into the menu to toggle headgear on or off. It's a little bit of a hidden thing, but it's something that a lot of RPGs have hidden in a menu, and Outer Worlds is no different. You're going to be spending a good amount of time talking to your companions, getting to know them, and you might want to see their faces more when you're out and about, and that's the way to do it. Now over at number 6, of course, there is supernova difficulty. It's no joke, but there are a few ways to make things easier for yourself. Saving is very limited, but if you want to kind of get around that, cheese that, you can just fast travel back to your ship. You can't quick save, but this is the next best thing because the game leaves an autosave at the precise point where you warped away. So when you're going into a tough fight, just warp back to your ship, wait a second, load the autosave to get back where you were, and then if you die, you can just load that save again. The other major problem starting out in Supernova is losing your companions. If their health bar drains all the way in combat, it's over. They're dead. So if you want to increase their likelihood of survival by a ton, do this. Set their AI behavior to ranged and always command them to run away if they get swarmed by enemies. Be sure to level up their determination and upgrade their armor whenever you can because they're going to need it. Do this and they might actually survive for a little while. They won't end up like all my XCOM soldiers. Now over at number 5, let's talk about some PC performance problems. Hello PC gamers. On a PC you can disable TAA, post-processing, and DOF, depth of field effects, by editing the engine.ini file for the Outer Worlds. If you need a performance boost or just think the game looks kind of blurry, you'll want to do this. Basically, you need to add some lines to the engine.ini file. This can be a little tricky if you're a novice, and of course you should know, edit this stuff at your own risk. If you've got the Windows Xbox Store, look here. If you've got the Epic Store, look here. Once you've found the engine.ini, look for this and add these lines for remove post-processing, for remove depth of field, remove chromatic aberration, add sharpening, turn off screen space reflections, and turn off ambient occlusion. Basically pause the video if you want to go back and look at these. Hopefully that helps out some of your performance out there. Now over at number 4, you want to play Outer Worlds like a Far Cry game? You can, even with a loud gun, and creep around. Just use a sniper rifle, then trigger the active slowdown and shoot an enemy in the head. If you can kill them in one headshot, you might have to have a really good sniper rifle at certain points. The other enemies will be alerted, but they won't go into full alert. So just wait for the alert to drop and then take out the next one. Of course, going in guns blazing is a pretty perfectly fine strategy. Like on normal, the game isn't super hard, but if you like to play stealthy and use long guns, you can actually be a pretty good silent assassin with this. Now over at number 3, early in the game you may look up and see that there is some verticality to stuff. Maybe just out of reach ledge with a nice shiny crate, and you can't quite jump or mantle your way up to it. For situations like this, you'll need the forward dodge ability that you'll unlock by dumping 20 points into dexterity and getting dodge. The game loves to put in little hard to reach secrets around the environment like this occasionally, so unlocking this skill is a must if you want to get everything. Now at number 2, The Outer Worlds doesn't really explain how criminal action works that much. You just kind of have to experiment on your own. If you're caught stealing, there are actually many options for dealing with it. You can bribe the person, lie, persuade, or threaten them to back down and leave you alone. The only repercussion is a slight faction standing hit for, being bad. So if you see something you really want and there's no way to grab it without being caught, just take it and talk your way out or bribe the person. The repercussions aren't really that big. Everyone in this game is stupid. In like a funny way, not like a bad game way. Now killing though, that can be trickier. One of the coolest things about the game is that you can kill pretty much anyone and the game will go on. Like here, we're gonna kill the boss of the cannery in the beginning of the game. His quest line is over, all the guards want to kill you, and the companion even has special dialogue and requires convincing to get her to stick around. The guards in town will still want you dead from now on, but at least the ones outside don't really seem to mind. Just so you know, the game is totally made for experimenting like this and seeing what happens. So don't be afraid to mess around because the game flow will keep going. It just might be more of a pain in the ass sometimes. Now at number 1, you can play dumb. Yeah, like the classic Fallout games, if your intelligence score is dropped down to below average, you'll start seeing dumb dialogue choices. Another way to play dumb? Play on supernova. Sleep deprivation and dehydration causes you to lose points in intelligence, so much to the point that you'll start seeing dumb dialogue choices. It's just a really cool, classic RPG type of attention to detail that we really wanted to highlight. It's a good example of just how special the game is and the systems within it. Really, in short, we love the Outer Worlds, and these are just some quick weird tips that the game doesn't really tell you, and now you know, jumping in. If you're jumping into it on launch day, if you got anything else to share with players out there, be sure to drop them in the comments. Any sort of tips, any little secrets, anything you've got, let us know and let players know. But if you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.